Well, thanks a lot, Michelle and Martha and Alessia for organizing everything. They went through a ton of visas. And for our clients, we've had, say 90% where their entry to the US is utilizing the E2 visa through a franchise investment. And we've had clients also do L1. And we've had green card holders with EB5, EB1C, EB2 and IW. There's a lot of categories to navigate it yourself. So definitely recommend a consultation with Michelle or one of her colleagues to see what visa path's best for you and how to initially get into the US, potentially a bridge like the E2. And if you want to stay and be a green card holder one day, work with them from day one, as there's a lot of different options, but you don't necessarily want to start closing doors. So we'll work in parallel, where at Visa Franchise, we're very much focused on the franchise side and searching and analyzing franchise opportunities that are best suited for your unique abilities, investment amount, industries of interest, as well as meeting your visa category. We can help you save time. So instead of taking 6 months to find a franchise, we can bring that down to 1 or 2 months and help you invest in the right business. There's a lot of business brokers, consultants, franchise brokers, franchise consultants that largely operate as one-man shows, where Visa Franchise and our other company, Vetted Biz, we have 35 plus employees. So we take a very hands-on approach where you'll interact with 4 or 5 members of our team until we find the right business for you. There are thousands of businesses. So we've had Visa Franchise we started it 7 years ago. We've had 500 plus clients. We reviewed 7,000 plus businesses. We've never had a visa denied when there's been a second attempt. The first attempt, there's been a couple that were denied, and then they had to invest more funds or show that the business wasn't so marginal. But the final approval rate is 100%. And the first time approval rate's over 95%. So Visa Franchise, we've helped all these clients. We've learned a ton alongside them, what to look out for. And Vetted Biz, about 3 years ago, we had a ton of data on all the franchises that we mine, and we decided to let's publish that data online. And whether you're a foreign national looking to move to the US or you're an American investing in a franchise, we have data on every single franchise brand, largely from public information, as well as a few third-party sources, to compare apples to apples and understand what franchises might be worth an investment, what's the average unit volume, midpoint investment, prospective franchise payback period. Vetted Biz gives you all those tools to really navigate what franchise opportunities are out there. Then if you would like us at Visa Franchise to reach out to the franchisor, do additional due diligence, screen franchisees, organize all the calls, work with Michelle, Martha, and their colleagues, then we can do that for a set fee. But Vetted Biz has a lot of free resources, free access to a lot of the information, where there's about 5,800 franchises, and it's anything from Subway. And you have other concepts that have multiple E2 visa approvals, but are a lot smaller and at times are more accommodating to helping the foreign nationals. Taking a look at a big brand, Subway, it's just people think about Subway, that it's an amazing business and they're familiar with Subway. I wouldn't recommend anyone invest in Subway, just given that they're closing so many locations. If you look from 2017 to 2021, they've closed over 8,000 locations in the United States alone. So, when they started in the beginning of 2017, they had 27,000 locations. They've been opening some every year, but they're now down to 21,000. And I think this system is just going to dwindle down and follow the same path of Quiznos that went from 4,000 locations down to about 200 locations in a matter of years. So we have all that information on thousands of franchise opportunities. So you can see red flags as well as positive aspects of franchises. You can see the royalty fee, 8% for Subway, that's high. The median's 5% for that industry. Franchise fees a little lower though than the median. You can download the franchise disclosure document to go into even more details. All this information is available at Vetted Biz. An example of a business, but one of our clients was recently approved for the E2 visa. It's a painting business. So home services, people are working from home, spending a lot more time at home, much more mindful of their exteriors as well as the interiors of the house. And this is the painting franchise. The investment amount is on the low end. So we have to work together with Michelle, Martha, to make sure it meets the substantiality requirement of the business. Instead of leasing the truck, you might want to buy the truck. Your travel to the US to investigate the businesses can be considered and all that. But the more investment, the better for the E2 visa. And I believe we have one client as well applying for the L1 visa, given that there's a nice job structure where over a set period of years, you'll be an executive, there's managers beneath you, and then there's the painters and other functional staff members. So there's a lot of franchises that are eligible for the E2 visa. We've recorded over 350 franchisors that are willing to work with E2 visa holders. And then on the L1 side, it's less, and it's more proactive effort for us reaching out to the franchisors to educate them on the L1 visa, on the EB1C visa, and really seeing what the best fit is for you. So you can see you want to see net positive growth. So they're adding a few units every year, not crazy number of units, but it's positive. And they've had multiple E2 visa holders. The financials are all here. You can see how much money the average franchisee makes. That's been operating for over 24 months, for 12 to 24 months, as well as all franchisees. So for this business, median gross revenue for franchises over 24 months is $400,000. And for all franchises, including the ones that just opened, it's not that much lower at $389,000. And for home service businesses, you can expect the profit margin anywhere from 15 to even 25, 28%, depending on how the business is structured and how your top line revenue is. So again, Vetted Biz, lots of data there. Depending on how sophisticated you are and how much time you have, you can dig through that and you can reach out directly to the franchises and see if they work with E2 visa holders. Or another option would be Visa franchise, where we work with you every step of the way. And we're doing custom searches on your behalf to see what territory is available, sometimes convince a franchisor to work with you as an E2 or L1 visa holder. And we make the process go a lot faster, where if you're solely utilizing Vetted Biz or other tools available online, it might take 5-6 months to find and invest in a franchise. Where with us at Visa franchise, it's more like 1 to 2 months to get to an investment decision, make that investment, and then start the visa processing with CLFA.
Well, thank you, Patrick. On your presentation, there are a couple of things that I think really are worth highlighting. The first thing that we come up with clients that are considering doing an E2 or an E1 is how much money do I have to invest? The nice thing about the L1 and the L2 is that monetary threshold isn't the litmus. You do have to show that you have substantial employee heavy operations abroad, and it is employee focused in the US, but the capital investment isn't a factor like it is on the E. So that's one comparison that I think is worthwhile mentioning. If you have a candidate who wants to invest in one of these businesses that maybe it's not initial capital driven, but will have a large volume of employees that they're going to supervise or subcontractors, that may work better in an L setting than in an E setting, because as you mentioned, we do have issues at the consulates with what the consular officer determines is a substantial investment or a marginal investment. And so clients are always asking, how much do I have to invest to get an E2? We've sort of taken the $250,000 mark. And the $250,000 mark to me is that's the capital you have available to invest. You don't need that money to live. You can support your family. You have the $250,000. Spend at least 150 of it, 100, 150, and then you have the rest as capital available to finance the operations of the business should you need it. Because that's what the officer's really looking at. They want to make sure that you're going to come to the US and that this business is going to succeed. And that if there isn't an established track record, what they're looking at is, do you have the capital to fund this business and keep it alive if it takes a little longer than you anticipate? Or are you going to be needing, because you don't have the financial resources to support yourself, are you going to be needing this business to financially support you? And therefore it's marginal because it's just benefiting you with the salary. So those are really, it's not about the amount of money, it's the bigger picture. The other interesting thing to keep in mind with the E2 is that whatever business you invest in has to continue and has to maintain operations, not just active on Sunbiz. So you can't close your business, sell your business, or substantially change your business without going back and reapplying for the E2. Because at the moment those changes occur, USCIS considers that you are no longer complying with your E2 status. And if you travel after making one of those moves without having made an amendment or reapplying for the E2, your readmission on the E2 visa after that change could be considered a fraudulent entry. And we've had this problem come up down the road when we're trying to do a green card for an applicant who maybe sold their business and they left and came back. And as we're proving the immigration history, the wife now is doing the labor cert. Suddenly, the husband and the wife's legal status is in question because they didn't properly maintain it. So it's really important to understand that there's a lot of factors that we consider when we advise you. Apart from what the investment is, when you decide on that investment, we're going to look at all these different factors to help you decide which of the visas that we've talked about is the appropriate one for you. The other thing that I think is really awesome is the Vetted Biz database. I think it's incredible that you are offering that and the free access to clients. I know you and I talked about it. It's now like the leading franchise resource, not just for visas, but for banks and hedge funds and all kinds of people that are looking to invest in this. And the fact that you're sharing that with the public and our clients are aware, these are great resources to get objective due diligence information on potential investments. And that's something you're not going to get necessarily from a broker that is, has a direct commissions relationship with a couple of franchises. So if you are working with a broker, I suggest that, you look on Vetted Biz to see if there's any data about the business that you can access, because that information will help you make a objective decision about the investment. And that's the one area that we as attorneys cannot advise on. So we'll look at a business and we'll tell the client, yes, this works for this visa, but it may not make business sense for the client, right? Like spending money to not make money doesn't necessarily jive with the normal capitalist mentality. So you've got to, on your end, as the investor, do your due diligence, work with the appropriate people, and then we'll help you identify what's the best way to structure the visa if it's possible. I have clients that invest in real estate, and that's a passive investment. It doesn't qualify for the L or the E, but I don't discourage them from it. I say, go ahead. That's a great investment if you're getting a great return, just not what we can use to structure your visa. Let's look somewhere else. So in terms of the information you provided, thank you, Patrick.